Welcome back to the Author's Corner podcast, where we champion bold voices, powerful stories, and the journey of becoming the writer God created us to be. I'm your host, Tiffany Dillard, and today we're diving into the topic that hits close to home for so many of us, especially me: letting go of perfectionism so we can write and lead with confidence. If you're ever delayed publishing your book, hesitated to share your writing, or sat paralyzed in front of a blank page, this episode is for you. So I want you to go get your notebook, your pen, your favorite snack, your favorite drink, and come back and join me for an amazing conversation. All right, go get your stuff. Come on back. All right, welcome back. You got everything you needed? Okay, good. So we're going to go ahead and jump on into the topics. Now, you may see me look over towards my left because I'm looking at my notes. So I do take right notes. So that way I can give you the meat and potatoes of what we're talking about on today. I don't want to ramble, but I will ramble a little bit, but I try to make sure that I'm staying on topic, okay? So, first thing we're going to talk about is perfectionism, the silent confidence killer. Yeah, perfectionism, the silent confidence killer. So we're going to start talking about that today. Now, I am one that, yes, I dealt with trying to be perfect in all things. I was a performer. I was a people pleaser. I wanted to try to do my very best, to show up for people, to show up in projects, to show up as an author, to show up as a book publisher. In every area of my life, I tried to show up perfect, and I never could meet the mark. The needle kept getting pushed back every time. When I thought that I perfected something, when I thought that I was there and I got it and I'm perfect and I'm great at what I'm doing, the needle would get pushed back every time. So I found myself on a rat wheel, and I'm just running and running and running and running to where I'm wore out. Then I don't understand why my body's tired. Then I don't understand why my mind is tired. And then I don't understand when I look at the stuff that I'm doing, nothing is complete. Everything is just has been started, but nothing is complete. Nothing has been done. There's been, it looks like I've had some momentum, but nothing has been done. And then it started to kill my confidence. It started to make me feel like that I wasn't enough. It started to speak to my insecurities and started to activate my insecurities. So then I started to compare myself to other people, other authors, other book publishers, other wives, other mothers, because I was like, I'm not doing this right, because nothing that I thought I was doing was getting done. So then I felt like I was dropping the ball and I wasn't good enough. So let's talk about perfectionism. That quiet little voice that says, it's not good enough. I'll share it when it's polished. What if people judge it? And I can relate to that, because this book right here, The Reflection of Me, God just allowed me to revise that book. I want to say last year. He allowed me to revise that book last year after I got done writing my latest book, Marriage Conversation with God. And later on the episode, I'll share about that book and how you can get it. But that was my first book that I ever published. That was the first book that was published under New Voice Books. I didn't know anything about book publishing. I didn't know anything about writing, being an author, or nothing outside of writing papers for school. But writing a full book, I had no clue of what the formatting was supposed to look like, what the font was supposed to look like, how many fonts I could use within the book, like the margins. I didn't know anything, covers, where to publish the book, where to print the book, none of that. I didn't know anything about book publishing at all. But God told me to write the book. And as I was writing the book, I'm thinking like, well, what am I going to do for the cover? Where am I going to publish it? And I published the book. And I'm not going to say as on this side of it, more on the more educated side of it, on the more becoming more of an expert when it comes to book publishing, I can look at that book and see like, oh no, we need to fix this, we need to fix that, that's too much of a gap, all of that. I can see it all. But at the time, I didn't know. But God told me to publish the book anyway. At the time, I felt like it was ready. But then as I became more knowledgeable in publishing books, by publishing other people's books, I started looking at my book like, no, no, no. I said it's not good enough. I didn't want to share it anymore. I didn't. I'm not going to say I didn't want to. I did not share it because it wasn't polished. I said I'll share it again when it was polished. I thought the same thing. What if people judged it? What if people reading my book and they judging my book and I don't think it's fully edited. I may have some grammar issues and punctuation issues in there. I know I got some spacing issues and some formatting issues. They're going to judge my book. And then how am I out here promoting that I'm a book publisher and my book, it looks, to me, I feel like my book looked like trash. It was not perfect. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't right. It wasn't ready. Pull everything off the shelf about reflection of me. Don't do anything. But you know what? God told me to promote it anyway. God told me to sell it anyway. Y'all, I even tried to revise the book on my own. And when I say, when I was looking for my file for my book, I couldn't even find it. I couldn't even find the files that I was finding were half done, or it wasn't the full book, or the wording was off. Like, I literally could not find it. I even tried to download the file that I sent to the printer that I use, which is lulu.com. And with them, they sent me the file and it was coded. It was a bunch of codes. It was not my manuscript. I couldn't do anything because God said, He said it is perfect the way that it is. And He was teaching me something. He was breaking and destroying perfectionism in me. But at the time, I'm thinking, God, why would you do this to me? Why would you put me out like this? Why would you embarrass me like this? Why would you make me look like I don't know what I'm doing? And then how am I to promote to people that I do know what I'm doing when my book looks like this? And you asking me to publish other people's books and look at my own book. Do y'all not know that He even had me to sell this book at vending events? Before He allowed me to revise my book, this was the book, this version, the original version, was the book that I had to sell at vending events, and I had to sell it proudly and not in a prideful way, but like with full confidence in my story, even though it wasn't right. Even though for me, it wasn't ready. Even though for me, it wasn't perfect, but I had to sell it anyway. I had to come into agreement with the book that He gave me to say that it was good. It wasn't up to the standard of the book publishing industry, but it was good because God gave it to me. It's still my story. I had to go back to the comments that I received, the feedback that I received about the book. I had someone who is an editor read my book, and she gave me good feedback. She told me, she said, it's an amazing story. She said, yeah, I've seen some little errors that you could have corrected here and there, but it wasn't distracting. I thought the whole book was going to be distracting, but it wasn't. So I was able to continue to move forward with my book because I had to get it done. I had to do it. It couldn't just go on the shelf. It could not just collect dust. I had to start back promoting my book. I had to use what was in my hand. This is a form of income for my family. If I don't publish my book, promote my book, then I can't make any money to put into my business, to bless my family with, to bless somebody else with. So those three questions, those three thoughts, it's not good enough. I'll share it when it's polished. What if people judge it? Was the very things that I was saying and question and asking myself. So I don't want you to think just because I'm the expert that I don't deal with the things that you deal with. Because before I was a book publisher, I was an author. So I know where you are, Kingdom Scribes. I know what it feels like to look at your manuscript and feel like I don't think I have enough content. I don't think I'm writing enough. And then even looking at other people's books and you're like, their books are huge and my books are just 30 pages. I don't think I said enough. And you have. Because God is the one who tells you when your book is complete. So today, God is coming for perfectionism. He's coming for that perfect Patty, that perfect Peter, Patricia, Paul, however it is. He's coming for that perfect person in you that wants everything to be right before you release it. And see, when you think about things being perfect, it's not unto God's standard or approval, it's unto yours. You're saying, I want it to be perfect in my eyes. I want it to be right in my eyes. I'll release it when it looks right for me. But if God is saying release the book, put out the journal, put out the manual, release the guide, it's done. There's nothing else that you need to do to it. It's complete. And you keep saying, no, no, no. No, no, no. It ain't done. It ain't done. It ain't done. Then you're going against God and you're being disobedient. Because I could have held that book as long as I wanted to hold it to make sure that it met my standards. But then what if that book in the time that God wanted it to be released was the very time that somebody was going to get the book and lives were going to be changed? But I'm holding up their deliverance that they're praying and asking God for because I'm too busy trying to make sure my book perfect. So I'm not allowing God to do what he needs to do in this person's life because I'm over here trying to be perfect Patty. So I'm holding them up. And they're not able to get to know God in the way that I got to know him when he delivered me and set me free and healed me from domestic violence. From feeling like that I had to have control over my life. From feeling like I didn't have a voice, that I had to succumb to the image of who somebody else wanted me to be instead of showing up in this earth as in the image of God and the likeness of God of who he created me to be. I was trying to show up in the image of man and God said, no, you show up in my image. You belong to me. But he did that through me and I wrote it in my own story. But if I'm too busy trying to perfect it and not operate in excellence, it's a difference. Then I'm sitting here holding somebody else's deliverance back, healing back, breakthrough back, revelation and understand. I am holding God back from doing what he needs to do in somebody else's life. So now I know how tempting it is to want every sentence to shine, every ideal to be airtight. But let me ask you this. What if perfectionism is just fear in disguise? I'm going to ask the question one more time. What if perfectionism is just fear in disguise? What if it's not excellence you're pursuing, but it's approval? I hear somebody saying, what you say? Let me say it again. What if perfectionism is just fear in disguise? What if it's not excellence you're pursuing? It's approval. And here's what perfectionism really does. It silences you. It causes you to delay the work God put in you. Just like I just told you. I wrote the book, but I was too busy trying to make it perfect. Yeah, I put the book out. And I was excited in the beginning. when the book was released. But when I began to gain more knowledge of what books should look like, I looked at that as a flawed product and I took it down. I stopped promoting. I stopped investing. And I went back to the drawing board to try to fix it. And I don't know how God handled y'all, but he handled me real hard and rough. So he blocked me on every end. Because he know if Tiffany can figure out a way to do it and to get it done, oh, she's going to go to no end to get it done. And y'all, I will keep at it and keep at it and keep at it. Because one thing about me, there is no quitter in me. It's only two options for me. It's either for me or if it's not for me. If it's for me, it's mine. I'm going for it. If it's not for me, hey, it's not mine. I'm not even finna pursue. But this was something God gave me. So I was like, you know what? It's got to be right. It's got to be perfect. It's supposed to bring glory to God. This is all the stuff that I'm hyping myself up in my mind and allowing the spirit of perfectionism, because it's a spirit, to tell me I'm doing this for the glory of God. It's got to be perfect. God's name is on this. And you may say, what you mean God's name is on it? New Voice Books belongs to God. That's his. So that's his name in New Voice Books. So I'm like, no, it's got to be right. It's got to be perfect. But I was delaying what God was trying to do in me and through me by being obedient and putting the book out. It was perfect to him. It was right to him. He took what I saw as an imperfect thing and he said, it is good. Put it out. Put it out and put it out now. So perfectionism, it tricks you into thinking that confidence is found in the absence of flaws, when really confidence is born in courage. You hear me? So again, perfectionism, it tricks you into thinking that confidence is found in the absence of flaws. So you're saying I'm confident because there's no flaws in my book. I'm confident because there's no flaws in my journal or my planner. I'm confident because there's no flaws in my book of poems or my DIY book or my educational book. I'm confident because I don't see no flaws in that t-shirt design or that success box or my podcast or whatever that God is calling me to do. Then I'm confident in what I am doing because there's nothing wrong with it. I don't see anything wrong with it. But God is saying, will you still be confident in the thing that I gave you, in the creativity that I gave you, in the book that I gave you, in the planner that I gave you, in the journal that I gave you, when you can look at it and you can pick out the flaws? And we have to understand that confidence is born in courage. It took courage for me to put this book out. Even when I knew what I knew. We always say, if you know better, you do better. But I still had to promote my book. I still had to put it up on my website to let people know that it's part of the Kingdom Scribe Library. This is the birthing of New Voice Books. I can't hold. Hey, Kingdom Scribes. It's your favorite book publishing and writing coach, Tiffany Dillard. Now, I know a lot of you guys know about the Author's Corner podcast, and there are some that may not know about the Author's Corner podcast, but I want to make sure that you're subscribing to the channel. Don't just come over here and check out the content and date around and look around and be entertained and not join the community of Kingdom Scribes that are out here changing lives with their stories. We are changing lives one book at a time. This content is for you. I don't want you to come over here and just be like, oh, well, I don't know, but I'm going to come over and listen, but I don't know if I'm ready to write the book. You are. So we're going to get rid of fear today. So I want you to go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and like that episode that you're watching. And then also go ahead and share it out with others. So that way other people can get the content that is needed to help them publish their books, their journals, their DIY project books, their manuscripts, because if they need to, start writing, so their manuscripts, whatever it is they need to do, go ahead and share it with them. And yeah, I said go ahead and share it with them, so that way they'll know that there is a space and place right here on YouTube that can help them move from start to finish. Because we're not going to be people that sit around here and just talk about doing something or get applause because we have a vision, but we don't do nothing with the vision. Let's get done what God has called forth us to do. And this channel right here will help you to do it. So again, we want you to like it, love it in your heart, subscribe to the channel. Go ahead. I'll give you a few minutes. Okay, go ahead and subscribe. So you subscribe. Okay, go ahead and subscribe. Go ahead and turn on the all notifications, so anytime a short comes out or a episode comes out, you'll get it. And then share it with somebody else. Don't be a gatekeeper. Don't be a gatekeeper, because I'm not being a gatekeeper with you. So follow those instructions, and then go ahead and join me for this upcoming new episode that's about to drop on Monday at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Okay? Be blessed. I have to release it. So now let's talk about confidence is built, not waited on. Confidence doesn't come when the book is perfect. It comes when you take the risk, even when it's not. That book wasn't ready according to my standards. That book wasn't right according to my standards. It didn't look right. In some places, it didn't sound right. But I still had to release it. I had to take the risk that people would purchase my book, even though I felt like it wasn't ready to be purchased, even though I felt like it wasn't ready to even be read. I still had to release the book anyways. I had to take the risk to know that because God said it was good, it's good. And if there was some feedback that came back, like from my friend that's an editor, that said, hey, there was some little issues here and there, I picked it up. Of course she will. She's an editor. But she said it wasn't distracting. See, I was stuck on the first part of what she was saying. I was stuck on, she said there were some errors. But it wasn't distracting. It did not distract me from your story. It did not distract me from taking that roller coaster ride with you through the reflection of me and seeing the little girl to the young woman to who I am today. It didn't distract her from connecting with me in this book, which encouraged her and challenged her to put out her own story. So confidence doesn't come when the book is perfect. It comes when you take the risk, even when it's not. Think about David. He wasn't a polished warrior when he faced Goliath. David is 5'5". Me and David is the same height. Goliath was a giant. Huge. Big. Too big for us to be walking up and fighting. And I say us because we the same height. But Goliath was too big for David to be fighting, to be even approaching, to even be speaking to the man. Like, he's a giant. Bruh. He is out of your league. He was a shepherd boy who used what he had. He was tending to the sheep. Okay. He was in the field tending to the sheep, but God trained him. Because of that sheep, and because he was a good shepherd, he had to protect those sheep. And he might not have always did it in the right way or the perfect way, but he had to protect the sheep from the lion. He had to protect the sheep from the bear. And he thinking he just protecting the sheep, because back then, sheep was part of income. That was part of your livestock. That was part of how you and your family survived. So sheeps were used for sacrifice. So you had to tend to the sheep. You couldn't let these sheep die. You couldn't just handle them any kind of way. But God used the lion and the bear to train him for Goliath. God used the lion and the bear to build up his confidence to stand before a man who was completely out of his league, who was a trained warrior, and he was bigger than him. But one thing about David, David didn't show up in David's strength. David didn't show up saying, I'm perfect, I'm good, I'm right, I can do this. No, David said, I come in the name of the Lord. Like, I come in the name of the Lord. So he showed up in Godfidence. That's God confidence. You see it? I know y'all seen it on Facebook and all in places. Godfidence. That's what he showed up. God showed up. And that's how writing works too. The confidence you're looking for is on the other side of obedience. You got to be obedient. You can't wait until everything looks right according to your standards, because let's be honest, it never will be. It never will be. You will always find something. I just published a book called Marriage Conversation with God, and I published a children's book. And I'm still looking through it like, is something wrong? Everything right? Is the periods in the right place? You know, the wording right? Like, you know, let me make sure that I ain't double do something. I'm still looking at it. But God said, it is done. Don't touch it no more. It's done. It's done. It's done. So it's on the other side of submission. And yes, it's on the other side of clicking publish, even when you're still nervous, even when there's fear, even when there's uncertainty, even when you're like, I don't know. But you still publish anyway. You still go ahead and purchase that proof copy so that you can review your book. You're not reviewing it to make any changes. You're just reviewing it to make sure everything looks right. And then even if there may be a change, you're waiting on the instructions of God. You're not just making a change on your own because something doesn't look right to you. If God's saying leave it the way it is, you leave it. You leave it. Next, let's talk about trading perfectionism for progress. So here's a simple truth. Progress is greater than perfection. I know, Perfect Patty and Perfect Paul. You're like, what? You said what now? Progress is greater than perfection. Okay? Progress is greater than perfection. That's a whole t-shirt right there. Yeah. Y'all see it in the Kingdom Scribe shop. Yeah, y'all see it. When you let go of perfectionism, you give yourself permission to grow. You create space for God to refine your work. You let him be the one to look over what you've done and let you know where the errors are and what you need to do. Because when he lets you know where the errors are, he's also going to give you strategy on how to correct it. And who better to tell us how to correct the thing than the very one who's created the sun, who's created the stars, who's created the moon, who has created all the oceans and how they come in into the shore and go right back, you know, who's created the trees, the birds, like everything. Who's created you? Who's created you and everything about you? So who better to tell you how to refine a thing or correct a thing other than you? You make your writing more relatable and human. Now we got AI out here, and AI can give you something real perfect. It can give you something real right. But will it relate to your audience? Will the people recognize your voice and your story? I come on this podcast and am not a trained speaker, but I am being trained to speak. And so sometimes I stumble over my words. Sometimes a thought may come out and then another thought coming out. It'd be a whole lot of things, but I cannot not get on here and not speak to you and then sit here and hold back the content that God has given me for this podcast because I'm trying to make sure that I'm perfect in everything that I do. Nobody who started out speaking was amazing at it. It took time for them to get to where they are. And a lot of it was getting the confidence to stand before people and talk. And I'm one that I want to be just as comfortable talking with you as I am talking to my husband, talking to my children, talking to my family with ease. And I will get there. Episode after episode, reel after reel, short after short, live after live, to where when I do get on these speaking engagement stages, it's a breeze. Because I'm coming in the name of the Lord. I'm doing what God has told me to do. And honestly, people don't connect to perfect. They don't. You don't ever want to be around a person that feels like they do everything right and nothing wrong, because all you know they're going to do is nitpick at you. When a person feels like that they do nothing wrong and they are perfect and you are the one that's flawed, you don't want to be around them, because all they're going to do is hold the mirror up and say, you see this about you? You see that mark? Look at that pimple. You see that blemish? You see this? You see this? You see this? Because they're too busy trying to judge you and show you all of their flaws to highlight how perfect they are, when they're really not perfect, because none of us are. But because they come off as perfect, you don't want to be around them. You don't. You do not want to be around them. So people connect to real. They connect to your journey, to your voice, to your healing, to your story, to your knowledge that you got through a season of your life, through a journey that you had to walk down. They relate to the real, not the perfect. People relate to what's real, not what's perfect. So here are 3 quick mindset shifts to help you let go of perfectionism today. Agree with me that you're going to let go of it today. Like right now. Okay? Right now. Done is better than perfect. And matter of fact, I want you to say these. Say them out with me. So that way, as you're speaking, your mind is shifting. Done is better than perfect. The world needs our message more than it needs our masterpiece. Okay? Faith over fear. We'll say that and shout about it and all that, but you ain't really receiving it. You ain't really believing it. You ain't really coming into agreement with it. But we're going to do that on today. So we're going to have faith over fear. Ask yourself, am I writing from a place of faith or fear? Okay. And then next, your first draft is not your final destination. Things may change. God may say, you know what? No, take that out, put this in, or go deeper and give more context on that. So your first draft is not your final destination. Let the first version be messy. It's not a reflection of your worth, just a starting point. Okay? It's just a starting point. And so I want to pray. So I want to pray over us. So before I wrap up, I want to pray over you. And so that way we will not continue to operate from a place of perfectionism in writing and in every area of our lives. Because we can't break it in one place and then allow it to exist in another. It's still going to flow over to that place that we broke it in. So we break it over here as authors, as writers, as book publishers, as podcast hosts, as singers, as poets, as songwriters, whatever God has called you to do in the creative space as a creative. If we break it over here, we got to break it in other areas of our lives. It can't stay in our personal lives and then it's not allowed in our creative space. No, it's not going to work. It's going to creep back in some way. So I'm going to pray. Okay. So Father, I lift up every writer listening today who has been held back by perfectionism. Remind them that you are not looking for polished vessels, but surrendered ones. Help them to release the pressure to be flawless and to step boldly into the call you've placed on their life. May their confidence rise not in themselves, but in you. Let their words be led by grace, not fear. In Jesus' name, amen. Amen. So, listen, your voice matters even when it shakes, even when you feel like you're rambling, even when you feel like when you're not making sense, even when it's imperfect, and especially when it's real. If you've been waiting for a sign to finish that manuscript, to press publish, or to share your story, this is it. This is it. This is it. Now, before we go, I want to share with you, this is one of my latest books called Marriage Conversation with God. So I was one that was questioning God about marriage. I wanted to know why we had to get married. Why was it important to him? I didn't want to know marriage from the world standard. I didn't want to know marriage from my family standard. I wanted to know marriage from the one who created it. Why did our marriage have to mirror our relationship with him? I asked those questions and then I put it in this book. So you can get a copy of Marriage Conversation with God in our Kingdom shop on our website, and you can go to nvpublishingco.com. Again, the website is nvpublishingco.com, and you can purchase a copy of this book, and so that you can join in on the conversation um, with me and God pertaining to marriage. And then there will be a release. A journal is going to come out. It's just going to be a plain writing journal. So I'm going to be releasing a journal for this book as well. So then it'll be a combo that you can purchase. But so that you can write down what God is sharing with you about marriage. And that way we can keep this conversation going. We don't have to, it don't have to just stop with the book. Like, I want to keep talking about marriage and what people are learning about marriage, and, you know, what God is showing them when it comes to marriage, with their marriage, or and even if you're not married, you can still get this book. I mean, why wait until you get married and then try to get the book? No, get the book before you get married. That's our problem. We want to jump into things without really understanding the why behind it. So go ahead. If you are single, get the book. If you're engaged, get the book. If you're divorced, get the book. Okay, get the book. And so again, it's available in the Kingdom shop, so you can get this book. So I want to thank you for hanging out with me today. Be sure to subscribe, leave a review, leave a comment, share this with other writers who needs a little confidence boost. We are we have killed perfectionism on today. And as always, you know, head over to our website, nvpublishingco.com, to learn more about how we can help bring your book to life. We have all the information there pertaining to the book publishing services that we offer. We're going to have a Kingdom Scribe mentorship program that is going to be coming back. And also currently I am taking one-on-one clients for coaching. You can have an hour session with me. We can go over a chapter. You can ask questions pertaining to book publishing, whatever you need. We can talk about it within that hour. So I am doing one-on-one coaching sessions. So you can go over to the website and learn more about that. You can go over to the website and see the receipts of the other authors that have been published through New Voice Books. So you can go and check that out. So until next time, I want you to keep writing. I want you to keep healing and keep showing up as the author God created you to be. Be blessed.